Ray, tell me why you came here tonight.
Well, I came here tonight to ask the Clearing Civic League to undertake responsibility of trying to convince our local elected officials to come up with the necessary funding to build a railroad underpass at the location of 63rd and South Harlem Avenue, which is on the borderline between Chicago and Summit, Illinois.
Now you're a Clearing resident. How long have you lived in the neighborhood?
I've lived in the neighborhood since 1966, so we're looking at 47 years.
So you've seen untold, literally thousands of tie-ups as a motorist.
Yes, and it seems to be getting worse as time goes on, mainly because of the fact that these trains are no longer of a simple small length of 20 to 30 cars. In most cases, they're every bit of 100 to 150 cars. This specific location, along with 65th in Harlem, as well as 59th in Narragansett, as well as 59th in Austin, basically get tied up anywhere between 15 and 20 minutes. The bad thing about 63rd and 65th in Harlem is the fact that because it is at the entrance to the railroad yards, there have been a number of times when these trains have actually stopped and have sat there for the longest of time because of either track or scheduling problems within the Bell Railroad Yard. Thus, it's creating traffic jams of a large proportionate factor.
What needs to happen from this point forward?
Well, what needs to happen right now is, according to the information that I've discovered through a program called Create, which I guess was a program that was created by the federal, the county, and the city to basically combine their resources to determine where and when money would be allocated to be built, to be used to improve either railroad locations or various things of that nature. What we need to do is to convince our local elected officials to contact Create, to tell them about the severity of the problem, and to go from there. Not only is this an issue with the railroad, but then there's the issue of the Central Avenue overpass, which has been going on for at least 40 years that I know of. So it's basically up to our congressmen and our aldermen to look at this situation along with any of our state senators and state representatives. They all need to have a meeting of the minds and determine what needs to be done to either get the funding allocated to get the projects underway.
For those of you that don't know me, I'm Ray Drish, and I've been a member of the Civic League for how many years, Richard? For as long as I can remember. But I'm only 52 years old. There's some of you in this room that are a lot older than I am. The reason I'm here tonight, and I'm glad that Marty Quinn is here because I know that what I'm about to say he will take back to Speaker Madigan. I was hoping that Alderman Zaleski would be here tonight because he would take back the information to Congressman Lipinski. When you think of trains, and this Civic League has been dealing with trains for as long as that I can remember, okay? You think of commerce and industry, you think of money, you think of jobs, you think of expansion. I know that if you get stuck by a train in this area and you sit there and you watch 150 cars go by it, you know that somewhere, somehow, people are making money and people are getting jobs and things are improving or things are advancing. The problem is, you got to sit there and wait for those 150 cars to go by. A couple months ago, I was coming down Harlem Avenue, and I noticed that they had closed off 71st Street. So, being nosy, I went over there and took a look and found out that the reason they've closed 71st Street just west of Harlem is because they're going to build an underpass there. An underpass. Any of you in this room that is keenly aware of what goes on in this area knows that this area has been held hostage by the railroad industry for years. If you don't get stuck at 65th in Harlem, you'll get stuck at 63rd in Harlem. If you don't get stuck at 63rd in Harlem, you'll get stuck at 59th in Narragansett. If you don't get stuck there, you'll get stuck at 59th and Austin. And if you're lucky enough, you may get stopped at 55th and Central at both locations. I know for a fact that some of these trains have been that they have been so long in amount of cars that they've actually blocked 55th and Central all the way to 65th and Harlem. And then as soon as that one passes by, all of a sudden on the blue sky, here comes another one. I am not against railroads. I am not. I'm glad. But something has to be done with regards to some of these crossings. Enough is enough. God knows the amount of money I've spent sitting there waiting with my car engine running because it's 102 outside in the shade, so the air conditioning has to be kept going. Otherwise, I got to sit there and sweat. Or when it's 20 degrees below zero, I've got to keep the heat on in the car. A day like today, maybe yesterday, windows are down. Don't have to worry about one way or another. But just think about this for a second. Think about the amount of gas that has been wasted by cars and trucks that have been sitting there running for every bit of 15 to 20 minutes every time they've been stopped by a train. Now, I passed out an information pamphlet. Does everyone have one of these? Okay. I want to point out something to you. On the first page, I want you to look in the paragraph that starts with 80 freight trains, okay? There's a sentence in there that says, currently, 4,400 vehicles use 71st Street daily. That's a lot of cars. Now go to the next page. Down in the middle, hold on, I lost my place. Here it is. The paragraph that says this project will reduce, that's regarding the project at 63rd and Harlem. 10,700 annual motorist hours of delay. Okay? That's absolutely ridiculous. But what they're saying, though, is that if they build a great crossing at 63rd and Harlem, it will eliminate the delay to more than 1,100 vehicles daily. But yet they're claiming that there's 4,400 vehicles that use 71st Street on a daily basis. Give me a break. That is a fabrication and a lie, and I would like, well, this is the start of something, but that's a lie. Everyone in this room knows that. You can't tell me that they're all there. Go to 63rd Street at about 3:30 in the afternoon when things start to get rolling and there's a delay at that crossing. The traffic on 63rd Street has been backed up all the way to Oak Park Avenue. And then on the other side of the tracks, the traffic is backed up on 63 all the way to Archer Road. If you disagree with me at any time that I'm talking right now, raise your hand. But this is a lie. Whoever wrote this press release regarding the announcement of the 71st Street project lied. Because you cannot tell me that there's only 1,100 cars traveling up and down 63rd Street a day. You can't tell me that. Yes. Yeah, you're right. I'm sorry. 17,600 vehicles, okay? But they're saying that this would eliminate delay to more than 1,100 vehicles daily. That doesn't sound right to me. None of these totals sound right. I pass this out for you to read, okay? One more thing. On this original first sheet, it says, and I quote, "We have been waiting a long time for this underpass and are thrilled that construction is finally beginning," said Bridgeview Mayor Stephen Lammy. Well, geez, Mayor, how long have you waited for that 71st Street underpass? Because I know that 63rd and Harlem incorporated into the city of Chicago long before Bridgeview was staring somebody in the eye somewhere. So I don't know what the reason was why they did it. according to this press release, they bring up Toyota Park. Well, God forbid if somebody was late for a soccer game. Toyota Park is basically used what, May through October? 5 months? Maybe 6 months. I'll give them 6 months out of the year. The other 6 months of the year, there's nothing going on. But yet, you live here and you have to continue to put up with these trains. So I'd like you to read all this. There's also an announcement about the Archer Central overpass, underpass, okay? Which they're saying that the preliminary designs have been completed, but that the phase 2, which I don't totally understand, is underway. I'm assuming that's funding, okay? The main thing that we have to concern ourselves is this: how much longer do you want to put up with these trains? Some of you, and I say this in all respect, God forbid, some of you may not live long enough in this world to see that built. Okay? But you've been putting up with it all your life, and it's time to stop. You cannot come here, I don't care what elected official, and I know every one of them, and I have the utmost respect for Marty. He knows me personally, but he lives here too. Don't you, Marty? Okay? And I'm sure that these trains have affected you. Let me leave you with this, and then I'm going to say one more thing. God forbid the day, and I pray that it never happens. It may have already happened, and we don't even know about it. But God forbid the day when you call 911 and they haul your ass into that ambulance only to be delayed by a train, or someone that you care about is delayed by a train. I can't control Austin Avenue, and I can't control Narragansett, but we are in a position to control 63rd and Harlem. So I'm asking Joe Rice, the new president, to make a commitment that this will become your life's work as the president of the Civic League. The Civic League has always come out against the railroads, and I don't want to see a railroad speaker come here to tell you, well, we promise we won't block the railroad crossings anymore, we promise you that. No. I want someone to come to your meeting to say, I am pleased to announce that we've gotten the funding and we're starting the design and we're going to start construction, because enough is enough. I'm asking the Clearing Civic League to undertake this, because I know that the elected officials, they're not going to listen to me, but they'll listen to this Civic League. And I'm asking you, as the president, you're new, yes, make this your life's project, because right now, besides crime in the area, there ain't nothing else more important.
Right.
Okay?
How's Narragansett going? What's that story in Narragansett for 73rd and 95th?
You're talking about the Central Avenue overpass? Well, that's something you have to bring up with your congressman, because that was planned back in the days when my mother and father thought, let's have little Raymond. Okay? That's how long that's been going on. Okay? Now, if they build that underpass at Archer Central, like according to this, that's going to occur, I guess. Well, that's just going to make it easier for the traffic to get down Central. But once they get to 63rd or 65th, they have to go somewhere. How many of you have been traveling down 65th or 63rd and had to go turn around and go all the way to Cicero Avenue because you want to head south on Harlem Avenue? How many of you have been on Harlem Avenue and saw the traffic back up on the bridge that's been caused by the right turn lane for trucks that want to travel down 65th Street because 65th Street is blocked?
Yeah. Oh, yes.
Am I telling the truth? Tell me.
You are, especially when you're saying, no, you can't move it.
And I don't want to hear anyone come back and tell me that 63rd Street can't be built, because it can. Because there's more than enough room there. You've got 2 car lots on both corners. You've got a bar and a restaurant over there, which I know money talks. State comes in or whatever, it says, eminent domain, we got to tear you down, and they'll go. And I know that some people may appreciate that small park over there. Okay? But you know what? Get rid of the park if it's needed to build this, and buy some of those empty lots that are along 65th Street right now, and you can build a much better park if you want. But something's got to be done, folks. If you agree with me, raise your hand. That's all I can do for. So I'm asking you, Joe. Okay?
Yes, and
To make it your life's work.
Right.
You've got the information,